Back to the final segment of the show for today. The topic is Africans in American politics. And of course, Dr. Baxter has given us an overview of Africans first being excluded from the process once the war was over, admitted to the process, and then finally excluded from the process almost entirely in the 1890s. And so let's pick up at the point of what you have referred to as the disfranchisement movement, I think.
That disfranchisement, it begins after the Compromise of 1877. We have these black codes. Blacks are removed from office, cannot vote, would be the order of the day throughout the southern region of the United States. And then, of course, Plessy versus Ferguson legalizes Jim Crow or separate or segregated facilities all throughout the South. The order of the day. Now, when it comes down to the disfranchisement, all states passed different voting qualifications for people of color. There was the poll tax. If you wanted to vote, a person of color or even some poor whites, but mainly it affected people of color. If you could not pay the poll tax, you could not vote. Then there was the grandfather clause. If your grandfather voted in Arkansas, then you were eligible to vote. Then there was the literacy test. Now with the literacy test, you would go down to the election commission in Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, and the election officials would give you a copy of the state of Alabama's Constitution, and they would give you a paragraph to read. It was understood that you would never be able to satisfy them, but you read the paragraph, then they would ask you to explain the paragraph. You could never explain it to their satisfaction. Those were other means that were used to keep people of color from voting and certainly to keep them out of public office. That would be the order of the day that will continue to exist up until the arrival of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the Civil Rights Movement. Well, when we talk about the Civil Rights Movement, let's go to the year 1964. Congress, President Johnson as our president, his Great Society efforts to help the nation to overcome and include everybody, to include mainly people of color, we passed the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Then the 1965 Voters Registration Act, which ensured by federal law that the Negro throughout the South, every American, would not be denied the right to vote in his or her respective states. Look at elected officials today. Every state in this union, from the local to the state and to the federal level, people of color, other minorities, low socioeconomic people cannot be denied the right to vote. No property ownership requirement. All you have to do is to meet the voters' qualifications in your state, and also you're covered by the 1965 Voters' Rights Act. As a result of those two laws, we have more African American people, be them male, female, white women, other ethnic groups are participating in the political process. So when we look then at levels of government, local, state, federal level, we have inclusion in that the people that serve as our politicians, they look like America. We're diverse now. We're inclusive now. Well, there is a movement in this country to take us back to where we really do not need to go. When we think in terms of voter ID laws all across these United States, after the election of President Barack Obama, then we're talking about a modern day poll tax, literacy test, a grandfather's clause. It's just another way of minimizing the impact that the voting of so many people of color and other minorities could have or affect any election, be it at the local level, the state level, the federal level. When we look now at the Republican Party, now that they control the lower house, and now that they control their state legislatures and their local governments, they were able to go back and gerrymander. They have redrawn legislative districts all throughout their states. These states who have Republican governors, Republican legislators, they have gone back and they have redrawn every district. Now, what effect does that have in any given election? The Republicans redraw the districts that would give Republican candidates running in their districts the edge over the Democratic candidates. When it comes down to people of color or other minorities running, the districts are drawn in such a way that those candidates are pitted against one another. So when it's all said and done, the election results, you find that you will have a city council consisting of majority Republicans, a state legislature consisting of majority Republicans. And we pray that this doesn't happen, but we may very well have a Congress, and we may very well have a president who is a member of the Republican Party. So then, we're in a period now where we have to fight. Be it going to court, we have to fight to preserve the gains that we have made as people of color and minority people in this country. But if we do not be active in the process and safeguard the rights that we have gained, we may very well find ourselves going back to a period in American history where we really do not want to go.
And I think you mentioned